Welcome back and welcome to phase 5 of the crypto cycle, entering the crypto peak. This is the psychology of the markets. And what we're going to be discussing in today's video is where we are in the cycle, where we are going, and how to identify when we are there. Because remember, you will not know that it's the peak or the top of the market until probably much afterwards. As we learned in the previous cycle back in 2021, we had a lot of people saying that there was going to be an extended cycle into 2022. Not on this channel. In this channel, the beginning of 22, end of 21, I told you guys the top of the market has passed and we are now rotating into a bear market. But a lot of people were in this complacency mode where you may see a little bit of a recovery from the top, but then immediately entering the bear market. And so that's what we're going to be discussing. I got a lot of videos because there's a lot of things going on, a lot of Bitcoin buying, a lot of information that we're finding out about the auto pen. We're hearing more from the administration about where they are aligned on crypto and much, much more. We have a lot of videos, a lot of things to discuss in today's video. And I've been hearing a lot from you guys in the comments saying, Cryptoviser, we're not at the end of the bull market. We're not in a bear market yet. It's like, I didn't say that in any of my videos. All I have said is the further we go, the closer we are. And if you think that the further we go, the closer we are to the top of the market, or the further we go, the closer we are to the bear market, you're missing the whole point of how these cycles operate. And so let's get into it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. That way you never miss a new video. We upload almost every single day of the year to bring you the latest happening in the financial world. Welcome to the channel. Let's get into it. So like we discussed, right? I believe we are in phase 5, right? We're not in disbelief. We're not in the hope phase. We're not in the optimism phase. I believe we're kind of either in the belief phase, time to get fully invested, or we're in the thrill phase. I will go buy more on margin. Got to tell everyone to buy. Now, we're probably in between these two, right? So that's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. We are probably entering phase 5. We're very close to it. Maybe even by the time you're watching it, we're already in phase 5, which is the thrill phase. And effectively, this shows you how the market cycles work, right? And optimism, the rally is real. I think that a lot of people saw that throughout the last year. We had a nice steady increase. Now we're at $100,000 Bitcoin, kind of maintaining around that level. And so I do believe that we are in the belief phase, because as you're going to see in this video, a lot of people are talking about retail investors entering the space, and I do believe that retail has began to enter the space. I mean, I was out the other day and somebody was talking to me about, they were like, oh, did you see that this stock went up? And I'm like, that's interesting. Like, these are top signals when just random people are talking to you about the market. And it didn't really even have anything to do with crypto. But I am also seeing social media posts of people talking now more about playing leverage. We just saw one of these big Bitcoin whales on Hyperliquid's derivative market purchasing Bitcoin longs on margin of like 40x for like $1 billion total portfolio. And I mean, you're playing on 40x leverage. You basically have, I think, a 40x would be 2.5% move in the market one way or the other, and you will get liquidated. And so we're starting to see that going on. And that's why I believe that we're kind of in between the belief and thrill phase as we're now entering the middle of the year, entering June of 2025. But there's a lot of other things going on to kind of indicate where we are in the cycle. And again, this goes into my thesis that we are close to the top, or potentially already at the top. Like, most people are like, but Cryptoviser, it's going to go $1,000 higher and then it's going to be the all-time high. So you're wrong. And it's like, guys, we talk about macro crypto on this channel, right? Most of the people who watch my videos have been investing for years in Bitcoin, right? Some of you guys are new, but a lot of people are in from the bottom of the market, which was about $18,000, $15,000. So we're already up, 7, 8x. And that's just in Bitcoin. And so you guys have to keep that in mind. We're not talking about like, I'm talking about the difference between $100,000 and $200,000, not $107,000 and $108,000. To me, it's the same exact thing, because we're talking about the macro. On this channel, I even get comments, Cryptoviser, this video is old. It's like, they're making that comment because the price that they're seeing on the screen is not the same price that it is when they're watching the video, which, I mean, this is You would think like a high IQ person could figure this out, even maybe a low IQ person, but apparently not. They're just like, oh my God, Cryptoviser, it says $108,000. How come your screen says $107,000? This is an old video. And I'm like, what? Like if that's how you're watching the market, you're literally going to miss every opportunity to buy and every opportunity to sell. Because we're talking about going from 15,000 down here in the bear market all the way up to potentially 400, 500 million dollars, right? No, not 400 million dollars, 400,000, $500,000 or a million. So the difference between 108,000 and 109,000 is nothing when we're talking about going 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x. And that's really important to understand. But guys, there's a lot of other things going on in the markets, right? CNBC is now covering crypto conference, right? This is, I think, one of the first times that we're seeing the Bitcoin conference getting this much coverage. But the reason it's getting this much coverage, and this kind of goes into the next part of this video, is the alignment of the administration here in the United States. We're only in year one of the Trump administration here in 2025. And look, I want you guys to see the lineup for the Bitcoin conference. I think this was day 2 of the Bitcoin conference. J.D. Vance, the vice president of the United States, Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump. These are the president's family. Crypto czar David Sachs. These guys are speaking at the crypto conference, right? And so this is further a clarification that this administration is pro-crypto, pro-DeFi, pro-altcoins, all of this. And it's not just them saying it, they're doing it. Bitwise investment CEO said the cycle is dead. There will be an overwhelming amount of capital coming to Bitcoin. Now, a lot of people hear this, including me, and they get excited. They're like, wow, Bitwise ETF, is saying that we're going to get to, billions of dollars in crypto, that the cycle is dead. And we're hearing this a lot. I'm even seeing it in the comments on this video, on this channel. Cryptoviser, we're not in the big Bitcoin cycle because now Bitcoin's going to be coming in forever and ever and ever, and all these companies are going to keep buying it. And it's like, okay, but that doesn't mean that the market will continue to go up forever. People keep buying homes and houses. They keep building more houses, and people keep buying houses, right? But that doesn't mean that the price is. Look at the market right now in the middle of 2025. Guys, I have seen housing on the market for years, literally for years, and they're not moving the price. So that doesn't mean that the home is still worth that much. That just means that they're refusing to sell it for less than what they think it's worth. I mean, I've literally seen buildings that were built before the pandemic or during the pandemic, and they haven't sold one unit in their building because they refuse to lower the price. And so it is an elevated market. But just because the prices are staying elevated doesn't mean that it's actually worth that much. The longer it actually stays on the market and doesn't get sold, the more it proves that it's not worth that much, right? And so just because we're hearing these things like the cycle is over, we're never going to have a bear market again, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. This time is not different. The markets work how the markets work. And the reason the prices go higher in assets like crypto is because they're looking for a seller. And so you have to incentivize the seller. Maybe they're not going to sell at 100,000. Maybe they'll sell at 200,000. So when 200,000 hits, that's you have a new sell wall, and then it takes a while to break through that 200,000, and then it goes to 225,000. And granted, I know a lot of you are like bullish and saying, "Well, we're never going to sell." Michael Saylor says never sell. Smart money is going to sell, right? And whether it's Bitcoin or the altcoins or a portion of it, the markets always work in this way. And the thing is, when people keep pushing, no, Cryptoviser, the cycle's dead. We're going to go higher forever. And they're literally ignoring the psychology of the market. They don't even realize that they're in the thrill phase, stage 5, which is what this video is about. Or potentially even in euphoria, where they say, I'm a genius. We're all going to be rich, right? Oh no, the cycle's over. Oh no, Bitcoin's going to keep going up forever. Well, it will be going up forever, but we're going to have a corrective phase. But this is a great opportunity to understand where the administration is, because remember, this is the 12 to 18 month period after the Bitcoin halving of 2024. This administration is going to be in office in 2028. 2028 is the next election year. So everything that they're doing now up until the next cycle is going to be expanding access to crypto, growing these crypto companies, funding crypto companies, new projects, new integrations, new banking, new, like, guys, this is all happening. We're at the end of this cycle, in my view, right? Or close to the end of the cycle, in my view. And what everything that we're seeing is setting up for is the next cycle, because they want to solidify all these changes that they're making to the financial system, so that if this administration doesn't continue into the next election cycle, or get elected, I should say, there's still the clear potential that things will be rolled back. That's why they're going to be implementing these things over the next few years. And this takes a lot more time than most people realize, or most euphoric investors realize. They're like, no, it's happening today. It's happening today. It's like, yeah, it is happening today, but it's going to take time for the market to react to it. Anyway, Bitcoin White House Crypto Czar just said that Bitcoin is the financial system of the future. So in this section of the video, I really want you to pay attention to how aligned the administration is. It's not just one area of the administration. It's the whole administration. Let's listen to what David Sachs says here. And by the way, don't forget to give this video an absolutely free thumbs up. Let's listen in.
I don't want to measure, what we accomplish exactly through price levels. I guess I want to measure it through innovation levels, but I will say that I did notice that Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high the other day, and that was great to see.
Yeah.
It's the crypto czar of the
coincidence.
US.
It's not, yes. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we see that blockchain, Bitcoin, crypto, this is the financial system of the future. And we want this innovation happening in the United States. We don't want it driven offshore. That's basically what was happening before, is because under the Biden administration, and as we all know, Elizabeth Warren had the auto pen, all this innovation was being driven offshore. It was being driven to other countries. And
Wait a minute. Did you guys just hear that? And by the way, this is part of the video because we have more on this. He's saying Elizabeth Warren had the auto pen, at least in the crypto world. And he even followed up on this, because he didn't just say that at the Bitcoin conference. He said that on Fox News. Let's listen in.
this is the financial system of the future, Jesse, and we have to encourage it. What the Biden administration was doing, and let's face it, it wasn't Biden. Elizabeth Warren controlled the auto pen during that administration. She, for some reason, has this pathological hatred of the crypto community. She wants to drive this community offshore. She doesn't want it happening in the United States. That's the wrong policy for the United States. We want all the innovation happening here. This is a financial system of the future. It's cheaper. It's more efficient. We want it happening here, Jesse, and I think people are thrilled that President Trump is making that possible.
And whether you like the president or not, I think that what he has done and is doing for the crypto world is, it would have only been done under him. And so I do think that what is going on here is very good for the future of crypto and for the future of digital finance. He said, my theory is that multiple people controlled the auto pen depending on what the issue was. On crypto, Senator Warren controlled the auto pen. Well. So this also clears up, right? The fact that they didn't go pro-crypto, right, the other political party, and continued this war on crypto, knowing it wasn't popular, knowing how many Americans hold crypto, knowing how much money was getting pumped in to lobby this industry. It was a complete and utter failure. And I don't know how they are, unless they start pushing some of these things that the Trump administration is cheering on, and Senator Lummis and the Republican, really more on the Republican side of the House. Until they do something about this, I don't know how they're going to gain that demographic back. I really don't. And this is not a political channel. This is about money, right? And this is about investing. But you're talking about 70 million Americans having exposure to cryptocurrency, and one side like literally building a crypto army against the industry. And they're continuing it today because now they're saying, well, the Trump administration is making money off of this and all of that. So they're going to continue to say crypto bad, crypto bad. And meanwhile, more people are getting in crypto, more people are getting exposed to crypto, more people are getting access to crypto in the United States who do vote. And then they're like, well, why did we lose? Why did we lose? It's like, well, I mean, everybody in crypto told you guys, like, a lot of the crypto industry seems to be more liberal. I mean, think about it. Silicon Valley was in California, in San Francisco, right? Financial capital of the world, New York. You have Chicago, another financial hub. And these are primarily, blue leaning. And all these people didn't vote that way. It's pretty unbelievable. But anyway, back to the alignment. Senator Lummis just said she wants to make Bitcoin payments under $600 tax-free. Now, keep in mind, this is something they've been talking about for a while, but it's going to take a lot of work to get there. But the thing is, if they get this bill, it's kind of like no tax on tips, although some people say that the actual wording of that no tax on tips wasn't really that great for a lot of people. At least they did it. And it was unanimous vote. And so I don't know that you would see people arguing payments, Bitcoin payments under $600, like just regular everyday payments, to make that tax-free would be a bad thing. And so this is something to keep an eye on as well, because this is going to take a long time to do if they do it. And I wouldn't just count on this to like pump the price up, but it's something to think about. But also to show you, RFK, he's dealing on the health side of things, but he even is talking about the money as well. It's the whole administration is pinpoint aligned on a lot of these issues. And this is how you know they're going to make these things work. Let's listen in.
The importance of having decentralized currencies that can reinvigorate our country, that can make our country once again a hub for innovation, for entrepreneurship, that can re-democratize our economy by making our economy more transparent, and giving individuals power to hold on to their wealth without dilution, power to transport the wealth across borders without the government confiscating it from you. All these, all of these, and also the importance in having some kind of root in a base currency that will keep us out of war. I mean, I would say in the last 100 years, there's probably only one war that the American people would have agreed to finance, and that would be World War II. All of these other wars would not have happened if we had base currency. They were all enabled by fiat currency, by the capacity of politicians to print money, because otherwise they'd have to come to us in advance and say, we want a war. This means you're going to have to give up your boarding schools for your kids. You're going to have to give up your boat. You're going to have to buy different kinds of food. You're going to have to downgrade your expectations for your economic expectations for the next 20 years to pay for it. And people would think about it, and they wouldn't do it. And the fact that politicians don't have to do that, they can just print money afterwards without asking anybody's permission, is the reason that we have wars and the reason that we're addicted to wars in this country. So
this is the alignment of the entire administration, complete alignment on crypto, on DeFi. And so this is really good, right? But again, this is only year one. So a lot of what the market is seeing right now is, oh, this is going to happen. Oh, this is going to happen. Oh, this is going to happen. And they want it to be priced in today for what is going to occur in the future. The same way that when you take out debt, right, you're paying in the future for whatever you're buying today. And this could be really, really big, especially in the next cycle, if the groundwork is being laid, the foundation is being laid to undo all of the anti-crypto stuff over the last few years. Bring the companies back, make it about the innovation, give them the green light to create and innovate. And I mean, think about it. If Ripple, if Coinbase, if all of these different companies that were sued by the SEC were able to save these hundreds of millions of dollars on legal fees and put it into actual development and growth and newness. Imagine where we would be. Instead, they were spending it on legal fees, fighting the SEC. Complete and utter waste of money. But pay attention, because crypto czar David Sachs also says all it takes for the US to start buying Bitcoin is convincing Bitcoin billionaire Howard Lutnick it's a good idea. I want you to pay attention to this, because this next part of the video is really about not just the alignment, okay, of this industry, but what clues we're getting as to what is coming. Let's listen in.
The U.S. government started proactively acquiring Bitcoin.
What do you guys think about that?
That's about as big a rise as Fire Gary Gensler getting last summer.
So the executive order establishing the strategic Bitcoin reserve does allow the government to purchase more if it can be done in a budget neutral way. So specifically, if either the Commerce Department or the Treasury Department can figure out how to fund it without adding to the debt, then they are allowed to create those programs. So if we can convince Howard Lutnick, who's the Commerce Secretary, or Scott Bessent, who's the Treasury Secretary, to buy some, and they can figure out how to fund it, without a new tax or without adding to the debt, then maybe find the money from some other program that's not using it, then we could potentially acquire more Bitcoin.
Wow, love it.
Now, did that sound like he's saying, no, we're not going to buy Bitcoin? No. To me, it sounded like he's like, well, we got to get Lutnick on board, and it's going to happen. Well. Just 1 week ago, from when that video was just recorded, Howard Lutnick has exited from his affiliated firms, including $361 million in stock sales and a family trust handoff. And so I want you guys to pay attention to what is happening, because a lot of people are paying attention, but they're paying attention independently. They're not looking at the aggregate. They're not putting these things and saying, whoa, Lutnick is the Commerce Secretary. We have the crypto czar saying, well, all we would have to do is convince him to do it in a budget neutral way. Well, he's exiting his companies. He's handing the company off to his family, to his sons. And why is he doing that? Because what is Cantor Fitzgerald? It's the only firm in the United States that is like the financial, the regulated financial entity for Tether. Okay, the only one in the United States that has worked with Tether for years. He's also very pro-crypto. He also, but right here, by the way, he also, Cantor Fitzgerald, 50% of their portfolio is MicroStrategy, okay? And then we just heard this. Maple Finance and Falcon X secure Bitcoin-backed loans from Cantor Fitzgerald. So Wall Street financial firm Cantor Fitzgerald closed its first Bitcoin lending deal nearly a year after announcing their crypto services. According to a report, Cantor provided Bitcoin-backed loans to Falcon X and Maple Finance. Falcon X, a digital broker for digital assets, said it secured a facility worth over $100 million as part of a broader credit framework, while Maple Finance reportedly closed the first tranche of an agreement with Cantor. I mean, to me, it's clear. To me, it's very clear, right? Howard Lutnick is probably planning something big. Listening to David Sachs saying this, to me, he's letting us know, without saying it explicitly, Lutnick is going to figure out a way to buy Bitcoin, and it's going to happen soon. That's what I read from this. Along with him exiting his companies, along with his companies closing Bitcoin-backed loans on DeFi protocols like Maple Finance, along with owning 50% of Cantor Fitzgerald's portfolio in MicroStrategy. I mean, it should be freaking clear as day. But a lot of people would look at this and they say, but Cryptoviser, that's how we know we're down here. We're only in phase one of the bull market. I'm like, well, what was the last year and a half? What was the last year since 2023? Go look at the pricing. Zoom out your chart from 2023, from the middle of 2023. and then tell me that we haven't been in a bull market already for a few years now. But it's been a steady bull market, right? Similar to this, what we're seeing at the bottom in stage 1 and 2. I wish I had a pointer on the screen, but yeah, you guys can see this is a slow, steady uptrend. But the end stages of the bull market is the parabolic nature, where you just see moonshots straight up. And we've already started to see that in a lot of different cryptos. We've already seen that in a lot of these Bitcoin strategy companies. And we're seeing all of these other products popping up. But a lot of these products have to do with lending. I mean, hello, we just told you about Cantor Fitzgerald doing a Bitcoin-backed loan for $100 million. Now, while this may be safer than what we've seen in the past with lending and borrowing, borrowing, margin, these are all risk and very high risk. As I told you guys, in the thrill phase, people are buying more with margin. They're taking out more debt to buy more of the asset. So the price goes up even more. And then they take out more debt, buy more of the asset. Price goes up. Then they take out more debt. And margin is debt. Keep that in mind. So we're seeing this going on. And because of all of this betting on the market and this euphoria in the market and all of the debt for purchasing in the market, and this can continue. This can go on for months. It could go on for weeks, or it could go on for days. But at some point, that mechanism either slows down or the debt needs to be repaid, and you have to find ways to repay it. Typically, that's where you see the market starting to drop, right? After the euphoria phase, you get a little bit of a dip here. This liquidates a lot of positions. And then what happened in 2022? We saw Terra Luna go down, Celsius go down, BlockFi go down, Voyager go down, Celsius go down, and then FTX. But why did they all go down? Because they were over leveraged, number one. And then as the market was turning from a bull market to a bear market, they were losing on these leverage bets. And then as they were losing on the leverage bets, they were doubling down to make it up. It's like you go to the casino, you put $100 on black and then red comes up. You're like, well, let me put $200 on red. And then black comes up. Then you put $200 on red or $400. You keep doubling your bet, but you can keep losing. Yes, statistically, you're more likely to win over the long term in that strategy, but you could still lose, right? It's a 50-50 shot every freaking time, no matter what. And so that's very important to understand. On the way down, people getting liquidated, and then they need to double up to bet because they're so deep in debt. And then while they do that, right, other participants in the market are like, no, we're done. Short the market, get out of the market, and then who gets left holding the bag? You, because the people in the debt, they're going to be selling on the way down because they just need to sell at any price, and that's just going to keep pushing the price down because they got to pay back that debt. And then we go down sometimes as fast or faster than we went up. And so you have to keep that in mind. All of these things are extremely positive and very, very bullish for crypto. Very, very bullish. But there is risk, right? There is risk. We're also hearing Mark Moss, who is a Bitcoin advisor for the Bitcoin Opportunity Fund. He said on X, big announcement, kicking off the Bitcoin conference. We just launched perpetual income Bitcoin annuities, a great way to generate perpetual tax-free income from Bitcoin with push-button simplicity and, most importantly, with ever putting it at risk. And effectively, they partner with Arch Lending, which is, again, crypto-backed loans. And so people are going to be taking the crypto that they own, lending it out for a yield, or borrowing with their crypto as collateral. So for instance, let's say I have one Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin's $100,000. So maybe they're going to give me $25,000 for my one Bitcoin at $100,000, right? So they hold the Bitcoin as collateral. I take the $25,000 and then I pay it off. Or let's say the Bitcoin goes below a certain threshold. You can get margin called. They'll liquidate the loan. There's many different aspects here. But keep in mind, what do you think people are going to be doing here? This is the same thing that happened in the last cycle. Right? Forget about the institutions, forget about because here's the deal, MicroStrategy and the other institutions that are buying Bitcoin, they can hold for long periods and not worry about the volatility. You can't do that. And somebody working on leverage cannot freaking do that. And so this is the same thing we saw in the last cycle, crypto-backed loans. Give them your Bitcoin, they'll give you a loan, and you pay it back. But you can also get liquidated, right? And if the liquidations occur, people can't pay back their loans, because I think the most, what happened in the last cycle was people, they had a Bitcoin, they're like, okay, I'm just gonna leverage up because we're in the bull market. And then they go take out a loan, let's say one Bitcoin, so you take a $25,000 loan, then they take that $25,000 and then they buy more Bitcoin with it. But if you're at the end of the cycle and you have this downturn, sometimes people get nervous and then they start over trading the market, or they wait too long because they want more, right? The fear and greed index, they want more and more and more. They already had one Bitcoin, but now they want $25,000 loan so they can buy more Bitcoin, and hopefully Bitcoin will go up and double again, so they turn that 25,000 into 50,000. But what if it doesn't double again? And what if they're just hoping for that doubling and then they'll sell? Just like, oh, it's so easy, I'm a genius. Whoa, what phase of the cycle is that? Euphoria. That is the euphoria part of the cycle. Thrill is I will buy more on margin. Margin is debt. So if you use a Bitcoin-backed loan, a collateralized loan, a regular loan, doesn't matter. It's debt. It's margin. And so we are in, if not entering, the thrill phase of the market. And again, from the thrill phase to the euphoria phase, there's not that much time. This could be a few weeks. This could be a few months. This is something to keep in mind. All of this stuff is bullish. All of it is bullish. But there is risk. There's a lot of risk. We're seeing a lot of companies buying a lot of crypto. SharpLink has now launched an Ethereum treasury strategy, very similar to what we saw with MicroStrategy and MetaPlanet. We're going to be talking about those in a minute here. But SharpLink Gaming announced a $425 million private equity deal to launch an Ethereum treasury and appointed Ethereum co-founder Joe Lubin as a board chairman. So SharpLink Gaming launched an Ethereum-based corporate treasury and nominated Ethereum co-founder Joe Lubin as chairman of the board. Now, keep in mind, this stock went from middle of May. Well, let's just pull up the 1 month chart. It went from $3 to $30. So it 10x'd. It literally 10x'd. A little bit more than 10x just in a week because of this Ethereum strategy. But why, you may ask? Well, I went through some of the SEC documents to really look and see, it seems like they've been preparing for this for a few months now. Right now, the market cap is showing $20 million. But in this private equity deal, they created more shares. I think they increased the shares to about 2 million-ish. And before, it was around 300,000 shares, if I saw the documents correct, or 400,000 shares. So they basically 4 or 5x the total number of shares of the company. And so if you do that, right, that $2 or $3 valuation it's going to be diluted. But I would imagine a lot of the money they raised in the equity was from Ethereum maximalists who want this Ethereum strategy to work and are thinking very big, similar to how MicroStrategy is doing. But is this worth a 10x just because they are going to be buying $400 million in Ethereum? Well, I mean, it could be good, but remember, Ethereum has underperformed this whole cycle. And so if we do see a rotation into altcoins or even Ethereum, there is the possibility that it's just going to be a euphoric pump in the market, and then we will come back down. And so, again, a lot of people are jumping into this. SharpLink Gaming, 10x in just a few days. We're also seeing MetaPlanet, right? This is the Japanese company that's following MicroStrategy's lead. And shorts are seizing on Japan's MetaPlanet as the stock soars to $596,000 per Bitcoin. Now, they're doing interesting math, but analysts at 10x Research estimate MetaPlanet's stock price implies a Bitcoin price of $596,000, which effectively means the Bitcoin underlying the company is overvalued by basically 5 or 6x. Now, how to determine that is you have to look at how many Bitcoin they have. MetaPlanet holds about 7,800 Bitcoin, worth about $850 million. But if you look at the actual MetaPlanet market cap, 734 billion yen. So yen to USD, and what did I say? 750 billion. Oh my God, there's going to be a lot of zeros. That's 1,000 million billion. So we are at basically $5.1 billion valuation, right? So they're at a $5 billion valuation, but Metaplanet only holds 800 and where's the number? Sorry, I have so many tabs open. $850 million. So yeah, it's overvalued by 6x. Why is that? Because people are just jumping in. Oh, it's going to be the next MicroStrategy. Oh, it's going to go to $1,000. Then they're going to stock split. It's going to go to $1,000 again. Then they're going to stock split again. Then they're just going to go to $1,000. Just like it's like there's no other possibility like that. It's just there. And so, what part of the cycle is it in? Got to tell everyone to buy. I'm so smart. I'm at. This is going to make me so much money. They're just going to keep stock splitting. It's going to go to another 1,000 and stock split again. Like MicroStrategy hasn't done that, but it's taken 5-6 years. You know what I mean? And so, this is where we are in the cycle, right? When you put it all together like this, right? Why is Metaplanet 5x what they're just because they're buying Bitcoin? Again, going back to MicroStrategy or Metaplanet, why are you overpaying for the stock when you could just hold the Bitcoin? Because what they're doing is pumping the Bitcoin. And in a recent video, I showed you, the video is titled MSTR Won't Prove It. And Michael Saylor was asked at the Bitcoin conference to show proof of reserves on chain. And he said basically, no, they're not going to do it. And he said, if you don't trust that we have the Bitcoin, then just go buy the Bitcoin. Don't buy our stock. And he's basically telling you that Bitcoin is the superior asset, right? And so I think that MicroStrategy's thesis changed from let's increase the price of the stock to let's increase shareholder value. And they're looking at shareholder value as Bitcoin, right? The underlying Bitcoin behind the company. And so they're thinking about much longer term. They're thinking about much bigger than today and tomorrow. And so they don't care where the stock price goes. And I think it's going much lower than this because they're going to keep selling more and more shares on the open market. And the further we go in the cycle, and the more people who start questioning what Michael Saylor is doing, the less I think people are going to be excited and the more that we're going to see people selling off some of their shares. And that will potentially bring us down. But people will say, oh, no, but don't worry, BlackRock's going to keep buying. BlackRock's going to keep buying. But if BlackRock sees the market dropping, why wouldn't BlackRock wait to get in at cheaper prices? And then so while you're saying, oh, no, BlackRock's going to keep buying, they're not. Boom, 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 all the way down to the bear market, right? And so these are things that we are thinking about on this channel. We're trying to figure out where this is all going. Metaplanet issues $50 million in new debt to buy more Bitcoin. Like every single time that we hear this, which is becoming weekly, people are still cheering this on. Like, oh my God, like this is groundbreaking news. It's like, no, this is just the normal course of business. But I want you guys to remember something, right? Even though Metaplanet is buying, even though MicroStrategy is buying, even though, by the way, GameStop just announced they have purchased Bitcoin. They purchased 4,710 Bitcoin. That's about $4.7 billion, almost $5 billion. And we knew they were going to do this, right? They've been leading up to this for months now, months and months. But while people are cheering this on, I mean, guys, think about it. They have $5 billion in Bitcoin and their stock price is $14 billion. Besides the Bitcoin, they don't really have a business. I mean, GameStop, it's not a profitable company, right? I mean, I passed a GameStop the other day, and I mean, these stores haven't been updated in forever. That's usually a key to, yeah, this company's not going to work out. I went into a CVS the other day. They had almost nothing on the shelves in the whole store. They had one cashier, no self-checkout machines. And I was like, then the executives are like, well, why is our company not making any money? It's like, well, you have nothing on the shelves. They'll say, well, it was stolen. Okay, well, if it was stolen, maybe that's because you have only one cashier and no employees in the store. No, it's because we're getting stolen. It's like, like I'm not waiting in line to get a bottle of water. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. And so when you think about GameStop, like, what is their business? They sell video games. Well, you can buy that online. You can buy it through the console. Well, they trade games. Well, are they really making that much money on trading? Probably not what it's worth. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they are. But again, 3 times the valuation of the underlying Bitcoin. Is this going to work out? What if we do go in a bear market? What is that going to mean for the GameStop corporation and their stock? And what if they sell? because everybody's focusing on, oh, these companies are going to do exactly what MicroStrategy does. Maybe not, right? And the shareholders may determine, no, 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 no. We are in a bear market. We're already down on our investment. Sell it. That's a potential as well. Or if GameStop does go bankrupt, that will all be liquidated coins eventually. So these are things that we have to think about, because in the euphoria of the bull run, we don't see these things. But looking back in a bear market, you see them. Trump's social media venture is striking a $2.5 billion deal to buy Bitcoin. So all these companies are buying Bitcoin, but look at the price. The price has barely moved. I mean, the price has barely moved. Especially understanding MicroStrategy, all the Bitcoin ETFs, they've been buying and buying and buying and buying and buying for the last 2 years, and the price has gone up. But this is not really different than other cycles. It really isn't in terms of the steadiness. So are we going to see a parabolic phase? And if we are, what is that going to, what is going to account for that? Personally, I think it's the supply shock, right? I still don't understand how they're able to acquire this much Bitcoin, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of Bitcoin, hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. And there's still more liquidity. Like, who is selling? Where is all the liquidity coming from? And especially because MicroStrategy won't show their proof of reserves, it makes me question, are they rehypothecating the Bitcoin? Are they loaning it out? Is there more leverage than we know about? Not just with MicroStrategy, but just generally speaking. And this is something that we have to keep an eye on. But in my view, I think I've laid it out pretty clear. The administration is very aligned. Different departments in the administration are very aligned. They're going to be building out all of the infrastructure for crypto and Bitcoin and TradFi integration into Bitcoin over the next few years. And this is going to set us up for the next cycle, the next election cycle, 2028. And so maybe we are going to have a downturn. We are going to get into a bear market. And people are going to be like, damn, I lost a lot of money. Da, da, da. But maybe we will recover from that bear market faster than in previous cycles and more aggressively. Because I think it was a big miss. Although 2024, we did see massive gains in crypto and crypto-related assets, I think it could have been more. And I think in 2028, it potentially will be a lot more. And so we have to start preparing for that now. And how do we start preparing for that? Let the big companies do their thing. Let them keep acquiring Bitcoin and taking all the Bitcoin off of the market. Because in the next cycle, imagine right now, we're wondering where all the supply is coming from to keep the price down. Next cycle, we're going to know where a lot of the Bitcoin is. And so there's potentially not going to be a lot of Bitcoin left. And if these companies really are not going to sell the Bitcoin that they're buying, I think we're in kind of the gold rush phase, the Bitcoin rush phase for the corporations to get their hands on it before they can't get any more for somewhat decent level of prices. But I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. Let me know where you think we are in the psychology of the market cycle. Are we entering phase 5? Are we in phase 5? Or do you think that we're in a completely different phase of the market? Let me know down below. Pause the video right here so you can see all the different phases of the market and how they play out. Let me know where you think we are. Let me know where you think we're going, when you plan to sell, when you plan to buy. And hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to give the video a free thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. I'll see you when I see you. Invest responsibly and crypto on.